Time for me, ladies. Don't forget that we are just a bunch of rookies, so no pressure.
No.
Time for me, ladies. Don't forget that we are just a bunch of rookies, so no pressure.
No pressure, like zero pressure.
There is no pressure, guys. We are
5 rookies, so there is no pressure.
Paris is going to step up. Illisan's stunned, only level 5 right now. 1 more 3 coming in, and there's the bullet time. Hilly oversteps.
Can we
shield.
I'm here. You have W? I hold on them.
I have TP in 5. Good. Nice.
No flash.
I'm just sitting top, I'm not TPing, okay? I have combo. Nice.
Vitality starts season 2025 with a W, and I have the pleasure to introduce you to Czajek, rookie in the LEC mid laner for Vitality. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much. It was a great game.
Congrats, yeah, on an amazing game, honestly. I was watching the voice comms and everything, and you seemed confident right before the game. How does one get so confident right before making their debut on the LEC? Because you had an amazing performance today.
I think it could be a little bit of experience already,
Yeah.
because I think I'm playing competitive for a few years already, so it's like natural to feel confident. I guess it's on a big stage, I would say. So it's another type of pressure,
All right.
but I felt really confident today that we're gonna win.
You know, we were talking right before this interview about the first time I interviewed you in Nice when you were playing in the LFL. Some years ago, you have changed a lot. But for people who don't know you, how much of a different player are you compared to the first times you played in LFL? And what can we expect from you, Czajek, in the LEC?
I would say when I first joined the Alpha, I was really bad. Like when I compare myself to my first split in LFL, when I was in Misfits, I think I was playing only to scale. I was not really doing much on the map. I was just praying that I pick that Viktor, that Azir, and scale up. I think now I'm a bit different person. Like I view the game differently. So yeah, I think I changed a lot as a player.
Well, looking forward to seeing what you're going to showcase here in the LEC. Last question for you. You're with Vitality, you have to play with Carzzy. We know how he is in voice comms and how crazy he can get. Can you give us some details on how it's been working with him so far?
I mean, there are moments where Carzzy can be really crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, his name comes from it, right? He misspelled crazy. But I think when it comes to like 1v1 with him, like talking to him, he can be really serious. But on scrims or like when we're talking as a team, he's really funny. He's talking so many weird stuff, and it's so funny.
Is it putting you in a comfortable position, being with veteran players such as like him or Illisan, for instance?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think they are putting a lot of good effort. I think they're helping us a lot as veterans, so I'm glad to have them.
Perfect. You got everything you need. Congrats again on an amazing debut in the LEC. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
For the second game. That's all for us here. Sjokz, over to you.
Awesome. What a debut for Czajek. I mean, I'm going to lie and say I expected this, but I did not.
I did not expect this.
I was really scared for because specifically if you have new solo laners in a team that was already kind of floundering, right? And solo laners that don't have that much experience, it's hard to make it work.
Yeah, I was also really surprised. I played versus Czajek a lot last year in scrims, and to me, he didn't really stand out. He just seemed like a decent enough mid laner, but there were other real mid laners that I thought seemed better. But today he really showed up, and he showed up well.
It was sick. Also, a first, as the Corgi is shaking his booty, we actually have the champion on the desk as well.
Get
so
in
we
on
can
your
ask him
Riot
some
Games merch
questions.
stall.
Yeah, here. Okay, so what did you think about the game?
It was a very good game. I enjoyed it.
But
It was a tough first blood. I thought it would be a tough game.
your support was inting it, bro.
Oh, it's Illisan. He creates space, a lot of space created.
He didn't say it, the Corgi said it. This is great. We also have the Renekton on the other side. That wasn't that good. Do you want to tell the story of the game through the... I can't actually type that for...
Give me
Here
that.
we go.
So what did you think of the game, Mr. Renekton?
Yes, I got a kill in the early game, but then my champion was mega useless into the enemy team comp, and I could never do anything, and Czajek was smurfing on me with his E's, and I couldn't do anything. The Weaver Grounds was too strong, so GG, go next.
You know...
Renekton has the same voice as Corki?
Yeah, unironically...
Same voice actors. I mean,
What
really
does
good
it say
voice
that I
actor.
like?
That was the same voice
I
actor.
like your analysis more when you do that than usual. That's actually wild.
It's like higher quality.
Wow.
So, regardless though, I want to say content with what I saw from Vitality. I don't think this is like the ideal BDS that we want to see either. Was the decision making a bit faulty at times by BDS, or what was the main issue here?
Yeah, I actually think it was really difficult from a draft perspective as well. I thought the Azir was mega useless, right? I never thought there was a point where this champion could do anything. And even a champion as tanky as Sejuani was getting Alistar comboed and then blown up by a Corki and Taliyah. Like, they just got so far ahead that it did not matter what target we were going on.
For me, it was like two big puzzling things. First was the fact that Irrelevant, he's like the best Jax in EU, and he chooses to go Renekton over Jax. And also, Ice on the MF, he didn't look too comfortable. He went Essence River first instead of BT, which is very like backwards to me because you go BT for the really strong first item spike. And I was thinking when he went Essence River Rush, okay, he's gonna skip BT because it delays your crit, but he ended up going BT second, which just, I don't know, why wouldn't you go BT first and then ER? You just have a better scaling and better spike throughout the game.
Yeah, but the main issue with BDS was they were trying to make too many plays at the same time, right? Like in bot lane, they're TPing in with the Relevant when they already have Shale on Grubs at the same time. Suddenly you're trying to make two plays at the same time, and now you're losing out on bot side. You had such a nice tempo to play around with. You got greedy. You wanted more. You lost the game. And I think Vitality did a super solid job at just driving it home from there.
It's true. Pretty hard game also to play for MF though, against that enemy team comp.
I do
How would
think
you
so.
feel?
I think in general, leaving Corki up on this patch is pretty bait. You could see it somewhat here and there that the Corki could just always W forward and just chunk them out, and the damage of Corki right now is just, oof, it's so insane. So I would advise most teams to ban Corki because that champion is just vile. And you could see it this game that it was really hard for Ice to show.
Cover your ears.
Oh, guys, think of his emotion.
He
deserves it. Okay.
Oh my
God. He's buying tab by 24s every game, and he's so broken.
Yeah, you should hear that actually. We're gonna get to a quick break, but when we come back, we've got SK Gaming up versus GIANTX. Don't go anywhere.
I will go still, I will go. I go 2 seconds. Let's go, bro, let's go. Let's go. Cheers. Oh shit. Look, I buff. Oh, I missed my ult.
Guys, Atakan is spawning.
Atakan spawning. Let's go. Stop.
Harrison, please. Yeah, chill, please.
These fists ain't just for show. Come on! Who's next? This is the coil before the strike. Let's settle the score. You'll want to get a close-up of this. Like the ivory serpent, I don't back down when it comes to family. You pick a fight with them, you pick a fight with me. Hometown hero coming through. Mom's fought for me since I was born. It's my turn now.
Wait, is he switching lanes?
Well, your opening day is back here with a grand entrance of GX versus SK. My name is Sjokz, joined by Dagda to take you through the last 3 games of our opening day. And this should be good for GX fans of last year. I think they're looking well and truly forward to this.
Yeah, I mean, GX feel like they've got a massive upgrade. You look at the bottom lane, Noah and Jun coming in, feels like they're going to work well, especially with Closer coming in too.
Sure.
So this is a team, if they can find that consistency in the mid game, really could pop off.
I mean, I'm excited about it because there's a lot of moving parts that move in, and if Jackies can have, you know, that rookie level performance that turns himself into a veteran over the years, then I'll be excited for it as well. Now the rock and roll music gets you into game number 3 with GX starting us off with the classic Kalista ban, and I expect the Skarner to go alongside here on the red side.
I was going to say, it feels like Skarner. I think he slipped through a single game in LCK.
Oh, yeah.
Is perma-banned in LPL. Like, hasn't even played. He's just banned in every single game. So we're going to be keeping up that one at the moment, and we'll have to see what the rest of this is going to come through. Vi, I think, is also the other big jungler that we're seeing being removed in a lot of situations. And then it's kind of a case of, like, do we start to swap in towards, like, more on-hit AD carries, like the Ashe and the Varus, we want to remove them. But also things like the K'Sante have also risen up as just bannable because they're so strong in that blind pick side.
I mean, again, we're just kind of still figuring out the meta as well, and what EU is going to look like, because we see LPL, we see LCK, we see the Ashe priority that today has kind of slipped by a little bit as well, but one thing that hasn't is the Corki. That's been taken away by SK not giving a chance for a first pick.
Also just the ability to flex, because it can be played mid, we see it a little bit in the LPL, it can play in the bot lane, so kind of getting rid of that. I also do like the Rumble ban, because a lot of the times Rumble, and even like we've seen picks like Zyra in the jungle, just open up the Ambessa, and a lot of people just trying to remove that. We haven't seen it today, but still an incredibly strong pick in this meta if you can find the right opportunity to open up.
I can see Jenax as an Ambessa player, so I'll hold that door.
Literally everything.
He literally does. I mean, the guy's been around for a long time as well, and you know, stepping up to the plate in his main role this year, I should say, as Lot gets a target ban. Remember, this guy in Amir Masters, big Gnar player, that's the final takeaway by SK.
Yeah, Lot is an exceptional laner and really likes to try and get these champions like Gnar where he can bully and push his advantages through it, but GenX is going to be well aware of that. These two have faced off against each other plenty of times in the LFL, so it's going to be taking that Jayce. Now the question is it the regular Jayce we expect in normal play, or are we going to get that new tank variant which has been popping up everywhere and is so obnoxious?
The Fimble Winter annoying build. You know, Flandre just went full tank and it was absolutely busted the other day watching one of his new squads. So as we get that combination with the Xin Zhao, Dagda on the other side, you know, I was expecting over the split to see a lot of Jenax on the Jax, but seeing Lot debut with it here as well alongside that Viktor is something unexpected for GX.
Yeah, I think just trying to have something that, look, you can try and survive the matchup and still be a big split push threat in the later stages of the game. And especially if you are going to go for this tank Jayce build, your whole idea is that you want to try and go for these short burst trades.
Yeah.
Your Q has a ton of this upfront damage, your W then has the percentage max health, so trying to use that and then knock people away is kind of these short trades. But Jack's obviously able to jump back in and extend the trade is probably where you're looking for once you get past those 1.5 to 2 hours.
I think it's interesting, paired up with the Maokai as well. We do have a lot of CC, we have a lot of skirmishing potential here, but Dagda on the other side, SK, the Galio gets locked in, usually against some of these higher AP solo lanes, but this looks like it'd be moving mid.
Yeah, I think it works out great against something like the Viktor because you can get a lot of that wave clear, and Viktor just not very good at trying to follow in towards a lot of the plays that the Galio wants to try and make. And we've seen it crop up a lot. It's more so this tank build that we're getting with the hot radiance on the Galio. So what's potentially looking like a very bruiser heavy or very tank heavy pickup here for SK that wants to try and look for early skirmishes based around that Xin Zhao.
It sounds like you're saying tanks are strong in the current patch.
Tanks are a little bit strong. It's almost like when you nerf all of the armor penetration items and get rid of a lot of the, you know, percentage max health items, or at least reduce them, tanks become stronger.
What?
Yeah, that's
oh my god, wait, that's a formula. Hang on a minute. Well, you will notice because we've got tanks on the Rift now that 80 carries haven't actually been picked up. Ashe is the first one to go by GIANTX, but it looks like they're kind of preempting what is going to be picked on 4 here by SK.
Yeah, I'm curious exactly where you want to try and end up, because I think Ezreal probably going to be good on both sides. Noah had some great games on Ezreal last year, and if that's the angle you're going to go, I'm a little nervous just because of how beefy the front line on SK is going to be, that you may end up just struggling to get through them. So maybe they're trying to set up instead for something like a Jinx that we've seen a little bit. So I think that's one of the last few crit AD carries you can see, but you don't even go crit, you go Kraken Slayer into
the whole breaker.
Actually, looks like Rahel might try and take it away. So especially when you have a front line like this, I mean, we've seen Gen G pick up compositions like this, take the Jinx in the backline and pair it with something like the Lulu, and she just becomes absolutely unkillable.
Okay, well, Rahel's going to debut the AD carry that came onto SK and tried to get them into that brilliant spot to get out of Worlds, but falling a little bit short in the summer split. We now sit and wonder how he's going to debut here against GIANTX. On the other side, you talked about it, Noah's Ezreal here, a prime factor that we saw on the Fnatic lineup, but when you see Misfortune being as strong, I feel like it's apples and oranges right now, just about comfort going into this first game.
Yeah, I prefer the Ezreal in this situation because you've got a lot of ability to thwart a lot of what MF wants to do. Like when you take the, you open up the MF, Xin Zhao has that ultimate, doesn't take any damage. You've got the Jayce who's able to speed everyone up to move around in that, and also then the Galio ult, they just try and set up for a lot of shields and a lot of ability to buy space for anyone who's gone for that initial engage. So I prefer seeing them go towards the Ezreal, or maybe if they have something else, like a Xayah even, I think could work here, where you still get at least something that's able to self-peel, but can still provide a lot of damage in these fights.
They might be listening to your first recommendation, though. The Ezreal's still on their mind, something being hovered throughout, and it is going to be locked in here for Noah. So when this bot lane, had a bit of praise domestically, and I think internationally we wanted to see more. On this GIANTX roster, it's so important to see them shine here in this first game, as they go up against potential Braum from Loopy's debut on the other side of SK.
Yeah, I think you can actually just go with the Lulu. I think you've so much frontline, and you've already got the Jayce and the Galio there, and the Xin Zhao. I don't think you really need more frontline here, just something to enable the Jinx would, in my eyes, work out better, but they're going to go towards the Braum just for the matchup against the Rell on that bottom side of the map. It's very good, specifically, to try and stop any follow-up whenever that Rell goes for the engage, so I do understand it. I just think, at this stage, you've so much frontline, adding just a little bit of supportive tools would be nice.
I guess they just heard that tanks are OP and we're just going to add another one in the mix regardless, but I'll take it under consideration, Dagda, because again, for SK, we know that the damage is going to be limited if Rahel dies in this comp. I think it's safe to say that the damage falls off a little bit unless we get GenAx with a normalized Jayce build, unless we get Reeker with maybe a hybrid build as well, but we do know the normalization of these champs right now is pretty much full tank.
Yeah, I think the only thing for SK is also Isma being enabled a lot by the Braum. Like a slow, the auto attacks, the CC it provides. There's a huge amount of chase down potential on GIANTX. So while Rahel is the focus, there are other tools that can bring that damage. But for GIANTX, it's going to be a case of can you get access to a lot of these tools and then enable something like the Viktor to take over later on.
Well, the fans are out for the first day of the LEC. It is good to be back here in winter. And Dagda, I know it was talked about we're best of one still leading into our Fearless playoffs, but best of one can be fearless. It's a best of one Fearless. They just can't pick the same champions or play again today.
It's just that Schrodinger's Fearless. You never know.
Right.
Until we go to game 2, it can be either.
That's
we'll
right.
never find out.
And we will never find out. Welcome back. It is good to have you. As we get into Summoner's Rift, I know right now you're just looking at a still replay.
Yeah.
I guess we're just showcasing Kazi and Hylissang before we get into game.
There we go.
And now there we're back.
I like the invade from SK though, just trying to buy space already and get some information early for Isma.
Yeah.
Because this, again, Braum, one of the strongest champions you can have on these early invades, and especially if you've got to follow up with the Galio taunt or even just the E, there is a huge amount of kill potential here in SK, but it's just going to be information at the moment. And it's Isma who's protecting his own top side.
Do you reckon Reeker changes them to RKR coming into this just to support GenAx? We're just going three digits,
I mean, they did play together, but yeah, I think Reeker changed a good while ago at this stage, didn't he? Even in Mia Masters, but still, I think some people are going to remember both GenAx and Reeker from years past. But these two players have evolved a huge amount over the course of the last few years playing in the Mia Masters. GenAx was one of the, if not the most complete top laner that we had in EMEA Masters.
True.
Was really well focused on a wide champion pool, being able to dominate in lane, good understanding of how you want to try and play onto the map, and really bringing a lot of issues for anyone who faced off against BDS Academy with how strong he was in that position.
It was Naka who got the fair brunt of it as well in those recent finals. As you said, there's versatility. But looking at this game, just a quick touch-up is that SK are going to be running their bot lane as per normal. Lot with the lane swap down here is just absorbing pressure, while Isma's trying to invade off that set pressure going towards bot.
Yeah, I am curious because with the lane swaps coming through, it has really been a struggle for teams when you've got double melees and you don't have some sort of ranged jungler try and make these dives happen. The tower ramp-up damage is absolutely insane, and you basically have to play these picture perfect. So with already Isma moving down towards this bottom side, I'm going to keep my eyes to see if they can get the dive on towards Lost, but with the Counter-Strike, that's a lot of survivability and a lot of difficulty in actually finishing off the Jackson underneath the tower.
One of the reasons we saw, you know, even at Worlds, even last year, while Jax was so popular is because he couldn't survive. You're right. Sustainability there. Jayce doesn't have the same thing, and at level 2, GIANTX is in so much trouble. He's twisted advance, he's ignited as well. He flashes out, but he's right in the line of fire of Noah as Jun tanks up the last turret shot, but Noah needs one more. GIANTX close to leveling up. The Mystic shot missing. Noah flashes out for first blood, and it works in the end.
Great flash away from Noah. That level up nearly causing a heap of issues, but able to finish off the kill. I don't think they're going to try for any sort of response on the bottom side for SK. So yes, you will have the resets coming through, but it's a kill in the pocket of Noah.
Not a bad start, and at least the dive going through well when you consider that Jun held on to Flash. Noah only burning the Flash himself, but he's got TP to come back to this lane. Walking for now, but still walking to the same top lane.
Yeah, I think the thing to note, though, is that GIANTX is actually getting the minions underneath his tower because the TP back. So he will have a bit of a gold lead already starting to open up over Lost, whereas Lot will have that experience lead. Loopy now trying to make his way in towards the mid lane here just to help Reeker crash this wave and should be able to do it there.
Well, I got to say, Dagda, you know, we saw Medic on the way and he's like, oh, the games were a little bit slow. And as we experienced backstage, the games were definitely off to a slower start, but Blood already up in the top side, dive going well, Loopy already trying to make the roam, saving Reeker before more action comes across. It does seem like a nice start to the early game when I think we're hyped about both these teams with the changes they've made, that these could be more explosive teams over the course of this split in this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think these are two teams that could try and blow open the game early, and especially when you're looking at Reeker going towards things like Galio.
Yep.
You hit that level 6, your ability to take fights at these early objectives is absolutely insane. Plus, you're just base damages again from the likes of the Jayce and also the Galio can do a lot of work and carry this Jinx in these early stages in these fights. Again, looking like Gen G ran a very similar composition to this. We're able to get Ruler ahead very early thanks to some nice team fighting. So I'm curious if we'll see SK trying to replicate that, or if they're just like, look, we want to wait for Rahel to get his items online, especially when you've already gone for the cull. Let's just take it slow and keep giving these early plates over towards Rahel.
The old duo from that LCK Challengers, Dagda, Loopy, syncing up with Rahel nicely. We had a lot of compliments for Luon and Rahel last split. I think they showed how pivotal they were to the new SK. And now, you know, we just got another person who's also played with Rahel from the LCK Challengers scene to set him up for success.
Yeah, I mean, Loopy left the DK Challengers at the same time as Rahel. Rahel came to Europe, whereas Loopy went across towards LATAM. Playing in the LLA, so has still had that experience, and I think even just getting that synergy with these two players once more is going to be great to immediately find success. It'll just be a case of how strong can they be as this split starts to go on, because Rahel was really showing that X factor, that wow factor when it came towards champions like the Kai'Sa, and now, especially in a composition like this, he needs to be the one that steps up once again.
Well, Dagda, you shouldn't talk about it. You froze the stream. I'll ask you not to go too deep into it again. Hopefully we fix that for you. But for the meantime, small gold lead for SK in this early game despite the first blood. I think as well, it's been some of that lane swap. As you said, GIANTX absorbing the wave seems to have given that small gold advantage, especially in that top lane that has never met, as TPs are being burned across the map while grubs are being started up by GIANTX first.
Yeah, Noah using the TP to get back up to the top side, opting into that, knowing they're going to go in towards the lane swap. Closer steals away one of the grubs, which means that if Isma can get one, neither side can claim this towards their feats of strength. You have to get all 3 grubs if you want that to count.
They've got their shoes on at the very least, and how they walk towards it is their question. As Smite comes through, Isma steals it, you're right, but now the duel begins. Isma looking for the knock-up and finds it, only level 5 as we get a bit of damage down the bot side as well, but Close is a real one in trouble. He's got concussive blows, he flashes, he gets bursted, but he survives, walking out with the flash down in tow, with now another grub to seal the deal for Isma.
Yeah, Isma didn't get the flash over the wall, so wasn't able to follow up for that final auto attack proc, but still, SK going to be happy that they're able to force GIANTX back and keep themselves in check. Still, kind of need a little bit of help here for GIANTX in this top side at the moment. There's a big push going on, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Isma just trying to move up there, maybe with Loopy as well if they can clear it this way.
very active in his movement. I have to say though, Jun has been doing the same, but it is nice to see support syncing up as Rahel gets the push in.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we're starting to see a lot of teams opt into, is the early rotation of, instead of going towards top side to enter in towards grubs, it's mid lane to open up both sides, where you can now play for mid, but also take over control towards...
Part 2, wow, true shot barrage, and everything in the kitchen sink hitting. Jun gets the kill off the ignite, but GIANTX, no fear in the dive as we look towards the bottom side. SK want to replicate and they get the stun up with the concussive blows, but Reeker doesn't have enough health to dive, nor his flash.
But he's nearly level 6, one more creep, and Rahel should be able to hit it. There it is. Does he use the ult to stop it?
Zap at least cancels for Lot, making him scared, but they need a bit of extra damage to get the execute.
Yeah, still look at Jackie's though. He's starting to move down to try and cover this Lot. Going to see if he can defend the tower, but it's so low.
As it burns down, the Grub's helping out. Winter's Bite trying to get extra damage onto Lot. All it would take is Rahel to get a rocket down. And
he's going to get excited.
He will be dead, and I think I will too, Dagda, because for GIANTX's top laner, he's playing on a knife's edge. There it is! You know what? We won't take the Lot because he's now dead.
And they're still trying to move members down here as GIANTX. They really want to defend this turret, but Reeker now has ultimate if Jun goes for the engage. And Isma can be here in a matter of moments. Closer spotted, so SK will just back off. Won't get the initial turret, but it's a guessing place for GIANTX, who desperately wants some of that extra gold to help himself out.
So SK for the trade, I mean, we look at bot equalizing after the fact that Noah got ahead with that top lane dive. We look at GIANTX, as Dagda talked about as well, pushing top quite well. The only thing right now looking good for GIANTX, or rather in this very moment, is the fact that Dragon started for closer, but will he be able to maintain?
Reeker just kind of sitting around here. I think at this stage you want to back off from this as SK. Your bot lane is nowhere to be found. The ults have already been used, so you're only going to give the kills across here.
Reeker taking a bit of damage, but it's AP damage. Galio doesn't mind, but Jun's still angling through. You're right, we look for the Jayce. He's flown through with a taxi driving as Isma sets up for the hero's entrance, and now for GIANTX, they freeze the stream! But do they get further out? They run for their lives as the range still comes through from GIANTX, but on the back end, I'm looking at closer, in trouble, and down for the count.
I'm shocked that went as well as it did for SK, but Isma managed to sidestep, also had just enough of a heal coming off of those 3 Talon strikes to make sure that he was okay. But again, Lost didn't have that extra little bit of TP timer there, so he's forced to stay top, but going to get a lot of damage on this top turret. Reeker forced to TP to match.
Those top laners just played with their teleports throughout the game, and solo laners, I should say. It's just a turret plating game, isn't it? First turret still not taken, but SK will pull this one up, and the feat of strength at least one step closer here as they lock and seal that deal.
Yeah, the thing is though, there hasn't actually been any of those objectives to add to those feats of strength because those Void Grubs were shared. So 50 seconds now until the next Void Grubs. You're in a great position to rotate Rahel towards that top side, try and get a few more of these turret plates and just keep control over the map.
Well, as we look at the replay, side note, it took quite a while, Dagda, for someone to die from this play.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they didn't just immediately turn on towards SK when they're sitting here, but the amount of time that was bought with Isma and that ultimate gives Reeker an opportunity to buy space from as well, and Rahel and Loopy are able to get the whole way back from base to actually turn this play around. And as we talked about with the TP coming through from the Jayce, eventually there was going to be a numbers advantage there for SK, so nicely done to keep people at bay.
And the good news is for SK, everyone's a tank, so they take a while to die, and the longer the fights go on, it does feel like as long as you've got a resource bar, aka mana bar, things are going to be quite all right, as you see in the gold graph. All looking red here for SK in their first game of the season. As we said, they got first turret, but as Grubs spawn, now the extra question of the feat of strength is going to be answered here as teams look towards top side.
Yeah, I think you need to try and buy time as SK. You're waiting on Reeker's ultimate to be up and available and make sure that he's in a position to actually follow up on the play. So GIANTX posturing aggressively, want to start this now.
Loopy blocks the damage. Good range here from Rahel. It's not about that though. The permafrost is what I'm waiting for, but both Noah and Jun get on out. SK take control of the river.
But GIANTX are taking control of the map. You have push in bot lane here for Jackie's. He has that teleport advantage. SK already used both, so SK now trying to start the objective to draw GIANTX in, but they will lose bot turret for this.
A lot is walking in. At the very least, I see he walks out. He's got a mana bar, but doesn't want to use it. Instead, pushes the wave and just gives SK full rain here. True shot barrage, that's just going to help out with the leash. So one small feat of strength added here as SK move to fight.
Yeah, I thought we'd actually get the rotation coming down from both Noah and Closer after pushing in mid to try and help out on this bot lane tower, so you could try and take it. It will just be some extra plates for Jackies instead, but still, GIANTX at least getting something back on the map. 5 grubs for SK though is such a nice number to be at, plus getting your first win on the board when it comes to those objectives. So for SK, I think they're in a really good spot here. Your Jinx has already got some early kills, the code's gonna pop pretty soon, and you're starting to rack up on these objectives as well. GIANTX, they kind of need to find something to slow this game down, or else SK could get to run with Aves.
And again, it just seems breezy after what we saw for the dives as Hextech Drake goes down, and yoink, you'll take that. We just wait for one more to be locked on in here as SK, they defend top. GIANTX are looking for a dive here, Dagda, and I'm not sure how it's going to go with a Braum on the way.
Exactly. You've got Isma in the vicinity. TP to try and help.
A Galio, so he's going to taunt you. Lot doesn't get the stun off. It looks messy, and I don't like mess as Lot takes a turret shot. It ramped up, but he's not dead for now. Isma trying to pick apart the pieces.
Yeah, they can continue to chase here. Isma has the flash. Can he land?
Well, there's enough damage going onto Jackies. There's a Glacial Fissure knocked into the air. The Winds of Water help out, and Jackie's in trouble, but they've run out of their burst. Still, an audacious charge, maybe too ambitious. Flushing away is Isma SK. Are they going too far now is the question. As Jun takes down the jungler, GIANTX chasing for more, bringing the teleport up as well, and Lot is now ready for his own counter-strike. That missed before it narrowly avoids trouble with Loopy, but SK bit off a bit too much.
GIANTX going to continue pushing in this bottom side, get a little bit of damage on the turret, but I want to double check the replay there, because I'm not sure if Closer was intending to knock Isma in that direction, or if he just wanted to knock him back, and then Isma flashed into range of the Q. So maybe we'll catch in the replay, but it looked yeah. I mean, look, as Bob Ross said, that's how it goes. Sometimes you just, it's all intentional, you know?
See, what would Bob say about this?
But look, it's nice taunt. This is, I was surprised to see them go for the dive, because so much of the damage here is also magic damage, and coming off the Maokai, also partly from the Jacks, but then they continue to follow this up, and Isma comes in here, so they go on towards Jackie, but as he flashes forward, I don't know if Closer was intending to knock in this direction, but watch the flash. Closer immediately, looks like he just wanted to get the slow, but because Isma flashed over, gets the knockback anyway, knocked underneath the tower, and it means that then GIANTX are able to turn it around with a nice kill.
Timing of that audacious charge, a little bit rough, but getting killed for GIANTX. It's unfortunate it goes to Jun, but still stopping that push in its path. As we come back to live, you're looking at Plate Gold, a little bit more of an active early game, which we're excited to see, but guess what? It will still be the same Atakan that we get every single time. Voracious.
Beautiful.
Ruinous, only your solo queue games, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, every solo queue game. I like the dichotomy we have. It's, if you are a pro, you get to see the GA one.
Yep.
If you're not, you never ever get to see it. I'm sorry,
True.
It doesn't exist.
But I will say, I'm still not decided on what's more OP, getting an extra 40 gold plus, you know, the GA for 2.5 minutes. That is broken.
It's very, very
but
strong.
Jack at 25% on Epic Monster stats.
Yeah, but if you can just like take a Baron fight with the where you get the, it's not a GA, it's like you get to go. I can't remember the exact terminology.
GA.
Yeah, but anyway, we might have to need a GA for some of the GIANTX players up here, because a lot of members of SK moving up here. Reeker again starting to move. I think SK have actually done a reasonably good job of playing off this mid pressure from Rahel to try and set up control. And this is something again, like you're seeing a different approach by many different top teams as to how they want to try and play around this stuff. You look at like BLG, they're playing more for side lanes, whereas when you look at a team like Gen G, they've been playing a huge amount of, we want to play off of our AD carry in mid, and it looks like SK have been watching the Gen G VODs for this one, and it's working out for them.
And that's why we might see second item come through, which has been common, something like the Hullbreaker. I just want to point out the map though, quickly. SK have just moved, opened up mid on GIANTX resetting, and now get top turret as well. I mean, I'm not going to say macro masterclass, I'm just going to say that SK found a bit of a loophole where GIANTX were.
Yeah, and it also means now you've got the 2 towers down on top side for when Atakan spawns, which makes it much easier for you to shove in, fall back into darkness, and just try and force GIANTX to face check you at any point in time. So, well, Jackies?
He is a tank, but let's find out. He flashes, gets out of the static field, but still has enough to stick on Jackies and slow him down. That damage unheard of, but unending despair. Seems to be what Jackie's going through. Wind becomes lightning and he's close to dying. Slowed down yet again. The sticking power huge, but the rocket dodged by Jackie's good step up, and he flashes the emote.
Yeah, as you can see, Jayce has a Doran's Blade, therefore he's allowed to do that much damage. Yeah,
right.
So The problem is Jayce's base stats, he's like 310 damage on just his Q alone at base level. Before you add in any sort of like scaling or anything like that, his W does a ton of percentage max health. His E is also an execute. So like a lot of his damage is just built into the kit inherently, which is why we're seeing this tank Jayce start to stand up and deal a ton of damage without really taking much in return.
Thank you for explaining it, Dagda. Now we know is a feat of strength picked up by SK, by the way, with that Rift Herald. So, again, another boon to their early game that was. As now everyone has fancy feet wear. You know, I only figured out the other day, Dagda, some might call me dumb, but, you know...
Not to your face.
No, I hope not. Feats of strength, but it upgrades their feet, their shoes. You think that was intentional, or am I, maybe I am dumb?
Probably. I'm sure there's some... Yeah.
I think many people have connected those dots before I did. You know the real problem is saying it in public.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't have a mic or anything.
That's okay. That's only a few people watching. We're okay. Just ignore that part. Well, now that my brain's caught up, I see a Phantom Dancer flat out second instead by a Rahel. So no whole breaker build. It is just a Jinx.
I'm fine with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I am too. Yeah. There's a lot of tanks, as you said, on this roster.
So the thing is, I'm curious how much of it is just AD carry players being in protest that they might have to play mages in the bottom lane again. Like we heard Jackspektra talk about earlier. It's like, I'm so annoyed I'm going to build tank items on my Jinx AD carry second item. Because for anyone who doesn't know, there was an LPL player that ended up building Hullbreaker second item on Jinx after Kraken Slayer. Did all right. But you know what? Maybe you just stick to crit. Yeah.
Got Hullbreaker with his Herald charges here, by the way. It's going to go for the next. And ambitious, no. Isma just aggressive. Ulti's out, turns it into a play against Noah. He gets the bare brunt of it as Nature's Grasp will fly across and get the double root, but there's the lockdown by Jun. It's good setup, but the return here for GIANTX might hurt them. SK separated for the time being. Jackie's is doing that with his Chaos Storm, getting Rahel the hell out of the way. GIANTX have won the fight. They've defended their base.
Yeah, definitely ambitious at the end of it. Isma ends up forcing his team to take a fight that they don't really want to, and SK run to the hills as GIANTX goes down. Reeker was just pushing mid, but I think it would have been a disaster for him to try and join into anything on that bottom side, but no Dragon, no Adakan for a minute. It's not like SK are going to lose a huge amount off the back of this.
But I will say we got a lot of respect for Isma at the start of the split. You know, ambitious play as it was, still get some damage down as we look at a quick replay. See how he wanted to drift this.
Yeah, has to ult immediately with the audacious charge to Noah to just try and escape, but everyone in SK moves forward, and this was a great call from Jackie's. He was in topside pushing in, immediately TP in behind, gets access to Rahel, and a 2-item Viktor at this stage, or I don't think he's quite there, is a ton of damage. So you have to respect it. You can see Rahel just needs to run for the hills. Yeah, actually, yeah, only at the single item, but still, once you finish off for the Andrews as well with this, it's just so much damage from this champion. Oh, there it is.
I wonder why Viktor's so broken. The arcane buff is real, Dagda. We've got Jinx, we've got Viktor in the game. Ambessa, Jayce. Yeah, the arcane's having the right.
Vi was banned.
Vi is consistently banned.
Yeah.
Skarner must be from arcane. Like, he's got to be in there somewhere. Even if he's set design, I feel like right now we're having the ride of our lives with
Wasn't
arcane.
the whole story that, like, his tribe was murdered and stuff, so I'm sure parts of their...
Let's find out. Twisted advance, and Loopy's just dead. Now, Adakan has spawned top, but are GIANTX game enough after finding the support to do anything about it, as Loopy just caught on a ward by GIANTX over the wall?
So I'm in two minds here. I think you're better off waiting until like 22 minutes to try and take Adakan, because then you can use it for your Baron fight, or you can use it at like an upcoming major like Dragon fight or anything like that. GIANTX won't have this because it's 2.5 minute buff for Baron. They could use it at the next Mountain Dragon fight, but it's only kind of one for them, so I think SK can give it across. But I think when you have a moment like this in a game that's running away from you, just getting an objective off the map is never a bad thing, but SK...
Lot TP'd in, he's got a counter-strike on their carry, that's their only source of damage, so SK need to keep Rahel alive. Isma's going to be the target though, because he's easy access. GIANTX lured them in with a 2-man Magnet Storm, they've lured them down, and GIANTX are now pummeling them into the ground. A double with Nature's Grasp trying to bring yet another into fruition, as Jackie's damage hits hard, and now Lot on top of Reeker's, going to remind him where he came from. A shutdown, a big kill, and GIANTX are shooting for thrills.
GIANTX are bringing it back in the mid game. Great TP from Lost. Again, these TPs from GIANTX has been devastating to SK. and now they're going to pick up the rewards.
The turn, brilliant. GIANTX not overstaying their welcome. Dagda, I guess they heard you a little bit because it's going to be a 22-minute Atakan. As we look at the replay while that gets taken down.
Yeah, again, these wards have been fantastic. Lot able to get in on towards Rahel. Sure, you burn the cleanse, but it just means that when Jackies comes forward here, great call on the flash. So Jun interrupts Reeker on that potential ultimate, and Jackie sees his target, flashes over the wall, finishes off Rahel, and now you kind of called it a champ select. There's just not a huge amount of damage with both Isma and the Jinx down. So everyone on SK just has to run for the hills, but they just can't quite escape.
Come back, and GA's now picked up. Sorry, not GA's. I know I'm allowed. What did we call them again? We call them quick returns?
There was a term that is completely gone out of
I just don't remember. Let's call them fake GAs. All right, returnal GAs. You know what they are. You play League of Legends. 2 minutes left to go of that buff, where GIANTX can just send it and play any fight they want. Let's see if it syncs up with something like the Baron spawning at 25 now, or potentially that Dragon in 15. But for now, you can see they're going to play through the bottom side of the map, get their waves in order through top as well, where Jackies has a teleport that he can join in if he chooses to.
False life, that's the term.
False life.
False life.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure Medic nailed that in his cast earlier. Now I'm never going to hear the end.
Flash twist advance. Rahel was too far forward. Nature's Grasp beautiful as well. Closer again. He's happy to send it. He's got the false life. Big shout out to Dagda for looking that up as GIANTX still pushing forward. No, it takes a turret shot or two. Even ease into a Winter's Bite as Lot is now looking for a turret of his own.
Yeah, you're going to be facing up against Gen X Noah. Oh, Isma would have loved to get that Atakan buff off him, but not quite going to be able to do it. Loopy now in a bit of a precarious position if GIANTX want to try and come across. But it looks like they're happy with just cracking open that mid tower, getting some gold back in their favor, and now looking towards that potential dragon that is spawned on the map as well.
You know, I saw a Zillion earlier today in the LCK. It'd be really fun to see, you know, Zillions in LEC, especially with Atakan buff. You use Chrono Shift, and then you have the other GA as well. You just have like 9 lives. 3 to be specific, we all know.
Add a Renata into the mix as well.
Oh, yeah. Chrono Shift would be nice here, but maybe Jackie doesn't need it. Reeker takes a big damage, and Jackie's got the mana bar to work with to play this around, but Isma has converged on him. It's now just about the wave, and he'll go back to base.
Yeah, unlucky to get caught in that position, because honestly, it still sends you back as your team's trying to push out of the map, and you still want to get value for these objectives. Like, they are getting Dragon, maybe looking for the dive here as well.
This is value. True Shot Barrage. Lot is still got a turret underneath. Jun will tank it up for now. And yeah, they're just, I guess...
You're not really getting value, right? Like, you don't get the tower. They already were going to get the Dragon off of a fight, right? But, oh, now they're going for it.
Reeker's looking. I mean, GA has just expired, so this is a fair fight. But Jun with the re-engage, crash down, not connecting, but Lot's TP'd in. Chucky's is TP'd in on the team. And now, stunned up, Reeker has nowhere to go. Isma's in the middle of the fight, but for GIANTX, their front line is tanky enough. The damage as well, falling behind the wayside. GIANTX running for his life. Loopy not far behind him. And Rahel, the one damage source, is dead like a dodo.
Noah snipes Rahel in the middle of the fight and shuts down any of the damage from SK. We said they weren't getting value. Well, GIANTX certainly found a few kills to make sure they upped their bank accounts. And now, returning back onto the map, it'll be Baron that's on the cards for them with no AD carry for 25 seconds.
They haven't touched the Dragon at all. It seems like that's the next path, isn't it? GIANTX moving as a unit up towards
Giant
top.
is gone. I think our Dragon is gone. I just don't think it's been
right. I think Medic talked about it a little bit before. My apologies. I just got excited by the nice cool brown logo. So 3 dragons are down. Yeah, there is a bit of a timer to correct myself. And now that Baron, 30 seconds past its spawn. It's where GIANTX move next. And you can see right now SK aren't really on the map anywhere nearby. Reeker doesn't have TP or his ult. He's got to walk if he wants to be anywhere near.
Yeah, Loss is going to go down and match him though. So I don't really think GIANTX are going to start this up. I think there is a window where Loss could have joined with GIANTX here. They started and just looked for the fight immediately after, but no ult available on Jun, no flash available, no ult on closer. Maybe they're a little wary and just want to make sure they can catch these waves. This opens up for Reeker to come across though, and SK looking for a scrap before Lock can join.
Well, SK at least clearing out some of the vision. I told you, I knew it would be a more exciting game. I knew it would be full of blood. GIANTX, though, have debuted in such a powerful way. I think I'm kind of convinced by SK after getting the feat of strength earlier on. But GIANTX, that one fight, that bluff around Atakan, it seems like it's helped decide the game. 4.5k gold lead, of course. A Jack's that's now very far ahead when you know, Lot was behind in CS. GIANTX was the one who was able to pick up after the turret dive. And Lot was always on the weak side of the map, but no more.
I think the big issue as well is that Jackie's is just huge
Oh,
at
that
this stage.
too.
305, 3 items complete on this Viktor. If he can get a good ultimate, he can start to really tear through these health bars on SK. And again, like you talk about Jinx getting excited in fights and having those resets, the size the ultimate can get to for Jackie's is absurd if you can start to pick off a few people.
Yeah.
Even ticking over to level 16 there as well. So close quarter fights in jungle are going to be very detrimental for SK. They kind of want a bit more space so Rahel can position himself correctly, and you can have many members of SK keeping people like Lot out of the fight.
I mean, for Jackie's especially as well, it is nice to see him in a position of power. Dagger always gets scared because last year he had this tendency to get caught out in mid-games over and over, whether he had something with an escape like Tristana or not. So for GIANTX, closing out this game, such an important start to their LEC Winter. Right now, they're doing all their due diligence, clearing out vision, getting control of this choke as they continue to threaten this Baron that now they're committing teleports to as they move to the mid lane.
Yeah, it's just Noah trying to get back in. Make sure so Loopy's very far forward
Lot's
though.
spot is great. He gets a double counter strike and he pulls out the ult of Isma. For someone debuting the LEC, he's looking confident. And with the rest of GIANTX cleaning up now SK, they've got no chance. Another one bites the dust and GIANTX gets hit against the wall. Lot is unstoppable. I think he's going to be taking a lot more with the rest of this game.
Reeker just wasn't in space with the ultimate, and it means immediately GIANTX are able to get members. Even, again, Jackie's just poking down Rahel under the terror. Means that you cannot contest this as SK. GIANTX, I said in the podcast, I said at the start of this, it was their mid-game I wanted to see them improve on. Well, this has been a damn better mid-game than we saw from them last year.
It's been clean from that point onwards. GIANTX can take Baron now as well, no contest. Lot in the enemy jungle. I would like to say the same thing, but Isma spots him out. Reeker's there as well. These are tanks, and it's going to take a while as the rocket is going to be blocked by Jun. Great heads up from GIANTX as Lot has to ulti to try and get out. Jackie's is on the way. He's got enough for a counter-strike in the mana bar, but now he's running out. There's Winter's Bite, there's concussive blows, but there's a gravity field that's making it difficult to move. Lot still dies. It's a shutdown to Loopy, unfortunately for SK, but there's no top laner for 55 seconds.
There is no top lane turret for SK either. Noah's been working away through that after picking up the Baron too, so nicely done by Noah, getting a 700 gold injection there onto the Ezreal. SK setting up for this Dragon, but I don't know, like...
Are they strong enough 4v5?
That's the question, because Jackie's, I can't see, is his ultimate, isn't quite up on time, so maybe they feel confident to fight here.
Teleport's going to answer that for you, isn't it? It would be the third Dragon for SK, a way back into this game that's falling so far to the wayside. Nature's Grasp hits 3 members of the front line. True Shot Barrage is a whiff at 4K. Reeker is spotted on a minion, spotted on a ward, but he doesn't need to come in just to threat. The Glacial Fisher down after Dragon goes in, but Jun with a 3-man Magnet Storm and a hero's entrance at that hits nothing. Reeker's now into the front lines of damage, but SK have still taken down and given a reset over to Rahel. But look at those health bars. Closer in, Twisted Advance, finds that damage source, hits a blast cone. Rahel running for his life. He's the only chance, but Jackie's knows that too. Another rampage, another kill, another hit for Lot. And GIANTX now running behind his own enemy lines. Noah is chasing this up, zoning between 2 turrets. But GIANTX, it feels like the wallet diff really made a difference in the end.
Reeker's ultimate brought so much space to that fight for Rahel, but it just wasn't enough. They get 1 kill, but GIANTX, the second that pause is over, they're straight back into the fight. The bell rings and it's SK that drop immediately.
Jackie's having a great start. I feel like Noah and Jun, though, after their time on Fnatic, they're assimilating quite nicely as we look at how this started in front of Dragon again.
Yeah, and Reeker's ultimate here is great. Look at, like, Noah and Jackie's cannot get into this fight, and it buys Rahel the opportunity to get the kill. But they take so much damage from Jackie's ultimate that now they're just, and also Noah with the poke, that there's just nothing left in the tank. Rahel has to run, and again, as Jackie's has had heat-seeking missiles for Rahel in this game, consistently getting onto the AD carry and finding the wins for GX.
Pro has a Zonyas now after that last fight as well. So 4-item Viktor. It is going to be hell for the side of SK. Said that though, 8,500 gold lead, but I have to say, SK still, at least we've seen some resilience here in this game. At least we've seen some of those moments in that last team fight per se. What happens when Rahel gets reset? Well, I think it'd be much better for them if he had something like an Infinity Edge as that 4th item. Will they be given the chance to get there?
This stage is going to be rough. Jun finds GIANTX, but you can see there's just not enough damage there behind it. This is kind of a build when you want to try and be ahead, because when you fall behind, there's just not enough, and now GIANTX looking for more.
The AoE hurts. Nature's Grasp right again. Close has had a good start too. If we're talking about names, as Inner goes down, he's now zoned out, and just as I talk him up, he's going to get caught out. Rocket gives a reset for Rahel, and he starts firing away. Lot ulti's in, but his team is a little bit far away right now. The range from Noah going to help out, though, as they finally get within each other, as GIANTX look for another angle of approach. But Noah's like, no, I'm going over the wall. This Ezreal unleashed. The flash forward, the burn on GIANTX, the ult not needed, and Noah is here on GIANTX for now.
Noah's looking buff with that red buff. That was a play and a half. Immediately jumping onto the backline, and now GIANTX, they just get to end the game.
He's feeling it, man. GIANTX are running into the Nexus turrets. Whether they respawn or not, SK will never know, because one drops down. GIANTX looking for another. SK have got 20 seconds, 30 seconds in top lane as Jun looks for that final engage. At 33 minutes, Reeker is going to hero's entrance down, but his team is already dead. Outside of Rahel, there's no one standing in front of GIANTX. Nexus turret number 1, Nexus turret number 2 now dead, and Noah yet again flashing on his Ezreal as the Nexus will fall, and GIANTX, the hype is there.
There were a lot of eyes on players of GIANTX, but those eyes are all smiling right now. What an incredible performance from everyone on this team. Lot looking spectacular in the top side. The two carries incredible in team fights. The engages from Jun were great. And it feels like with Closer, I don't know if he's starting to take over the shot calling role, but they look significantly cleaner in the mid game.
Well, it's good to now to say you can vote for your player of the game on X at LEC. Is it Lot, Jackies, or Jun? Big question, no, Dagda? I feel like Jun's debut was fantastic. But Jackie's, like, we had moments like this last split.
I think it's the cleanliness of the mid game. He's not getting caught out overextending. He's working with the team. The setup is great, as Isma not fully paying attention to Noah there, but yeah, I think fantastic stuff. And again, I think this is one of the rosters a lot of people were looking at to see how hyped they could get. And this was a statement game from them.
I think a lot of the questions were not on the bot side, but on the top side, right? How is Lot going to debut into the LEC? His Jax game was fantastic, and it's really nice to see when GIANTX have been hyped up that they hit the bar strong in their debut against SK. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, but afterwards, Laure will be standing by with the legend in the mid lane in Jackies.